You must have heard by now all of the announcements that Microsoft made in relation to all of their AI developments, the new AI Windows and AI PC. Basically, some people recall it even as a potential MacBook killer. A lot of interesting points. And effectively, I would say, based on what Microsoft has announced, it is definitely in response to Google. It's the sort of thing that I suppose everybody has expected. I wouldn't say it's in response to OpenAI because OpenAI effectively is part of Microsoft's ecosystem. I mean, we had access to GPT 4.0 directly through Azure pretty much from day one before the announcement. So pretty much, I think the all of the new developments that is the sort of things that we all expected to see. Of course, Microsoft, everything about Microsoft now is going to be about AI, 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 Copilot, AI, AI, AI. However, the one thing that I think got people a little bit freaked out. I mean, it was definitely it kind of raised my eyebrows a little bit because I was like, whoa, 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 where are you going with this, guys? And that is, of course, recall. Now, if you haven't actually seen the announcement about recall, so in essence, your laptop, if you like, right, or your PC is constantly recording all of your activities on your laptop. And literally, it means recording, as in they taking screenshots of everything that you do, your browsing history, whatever files that you're working on, whatever software that you're developing, literally everything that you do. Now, from one side, you can say, well, that could be useful because let's say if you just want, if you're a very busy person, I mean, I can definitely relate to that. If sometimes I just want to go back to, what I can't remember what I've been doing like in the last few minutes because like a call came in and interrupted my thought process, and I might want to go back and see, okay, what was I doing exactly, etc. To be honest with you, I think we can live without it, but it's, I guess, as I said in previous videos with all of the new announcements from OpenAI and Google, yes, these are very nice features, but I think we could probably live without them, but they're very nice features nonetheless. But remember what I said in my previous videos, where I highlighted that we seem to be now in an era where a lot of these big tech companies, they want to suck up as much data from you as possible through these new AI models. Let's not forget, research is showing that the amount of data that is available to all of these AI companies is nowhere near enough to create AGI. Now, as you know, OpenAI is pushing for AGI, artificial general intelligence. I'm not a big believer in that, to be honest, but let's, keep it at that. I'll probably have another video discussing the details of that. But what OpenAI, of course, is pushing for, and some other companies, I suppose Anthropic as well, are doing the same, that they're pushing for AGI. And they're saying, oh, AGI is going to be the next big thing in AI. Elon Musk apparently in a tweet recently, or today I think it was, that he said, oh, he believes AGI will be available next year. Well, studies have shown that the amount of data that is available, not the amount of data that they can access about you, right? Literally, if you were to collect every single data point, connect it together, suck it up into whatever AI model, it's not going to be enough for AGI. Hence, it's not surprising that the strategy seems that these big companies have now is to suck up as much data out of you as possible. And Microsoft's recall, of course, I'm sure you would be thinking, this is literally sucking up even more data than ever before, recording every single activity. Now, to be fair, I have watched clips from an interview with Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO, where he said that all of this will happen on the edge. Now, you probably heard in my previous videos where I talk a lot about the importance, but that I'm advocating personally for edge AI. I'm even believing that, I think the company that will get this right is certainly Apple. I mean, they're still very quiet with the AI side of things, but I'm still thinking that they're going to dominate the market by the end of this year. At least they're going to come in with a bang, that's for sure. They've done it before, they'll do it again. But he actually emphasized, Satya Nadella, that all of this recording is going to be on the edge, meaning that your conversations or your interactions with Copilot or any other AI system within the laptop will stay on the laptop or whatever, or your handheld device of some kind. So it's just going to be there. No one else will access to it. Now, I suppose we have to, you know, um, believe him, maybe. I don't know. I don't have access to that yet. But certainly, I think the problem with AI right now, and I did warn you guys about this many, many times, is that your data is not private. Okay. Just remember all of the amazing features that we've seen announced in the last couple of weeks, from GPT 4.0 and Gemini, your interaction is sucked up to a server that is accessible by somebody. Okay. It's not private. And I even told you guys openly that even with Nano, our chatbot with my company, you know, in theory, we have full access to all the conversations. But we made a commitment, a public commitment. Now we were not going to do that. We set it up in such a way that it is effectively almost on edge, but it's in our private servers. Nobody has access to it. We don't access it either unless it's an absolute emergency. But we literally made a choice not to go through conversations and start using your conversations to train whatever models. We don't do that. Why? And I can tell you right now, it's nothing to do with regulation because there's no regulation. It's a choice. We can literally choose if we decide to switch the button and say, you know what, we want to access every single conversation. Now you might say, well, Tim, what about privacy policies and GDPR, yada, yada, yada. GDPR restricts companies from sharing user data and customer data with third parties. It does not mean that we can't access that data. It's our data effectively. Same thing goes with OpenAI, same thing goes with Google, same thing goes with Microsoft. So Microsoft's recall is indeed a concern, but if they are implementing it as an edge AI model, meaning that it never leaves your device, then I would say that's not bad because I think the future of AI needs to be edge AI. We can't carry on with the current model. I think it's unsustainable from the safety, privacy, security point of view. It's unsustainable. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think at least if he's starting to push this idea, it's certainly a conversation, although it's not being reported enough, in my opinion. I mean, like I'm seeing a report here, which I'm going to share with you guys on the description below from the BBC. The privacy watchdog and the data watchdog um, is freaked out when they heard about recall. So according to the UK data watchdog says it is making inquiries with Microsoft over new features that can take screenshots of your laptop every few seconds. Hmm. Um, and Microsoft actually gave a statement to the BBC, I believe, that that recall data is only stored locally and not accessed by Microsoft or anyone who does not have the device access. Okay, so yeah, edge AI, which is good. I think it's good. I think that if they're definitely going to do it and if they do it well and if it is safe, that's great. But of course, security is still going to be an issue. I mean, what happens if somebody steals your laptop, right? Or somebody manages to hack into your laptop? What happens then? I mean, there definitely is a lot of questions. I'm not saying that this is fully secure, but I think I certainly welcome the fact that Microsoft are now talking about edge AI, because then I think now, if Microsoft are kind of moving their attention towards trying to kill MacBooks, because till this point, let's be very clear, Microsoft was targeting Google. Even Satya Nadella himself, in some of his previous interviews, yeah, I think when ChatGPT came out first time, he actually said infamously that he wanted to make Google dance. And boy, did he make Google dance. They're still kind of dancing right now. They're kind of still playing catch up. But I think Microsoft are now really got the grip of the AI market, at least at the enterprise level for sure. Whereas I still believe I made a point, this point back in January in 2024, that I believe Apple is the one that is going to come into the market and obliterate it. Absolutely. They've done this so many times before. And I cannot tell you guys how many times, because I see this in the media as well, that they say, oh, Apple is late. Apple is playing catch up. Man, when Apple were about to announce the iPhone, there was a lot of rumors about the iPhone, that Apple was releasing a phone. Do you know how many times I heard in the media people saying, oh, why is Apple getting into the phone market? The mobile market is so saturated. Nokia is in control of it. And, Microsoft already released various smartphones at the time of PDAs. I've got one of them over here. This one. This is what is that XDA2, right? So these things existed before the iPhone. And people were literally saying that Apple was coming into the market way too late. Where are we now with the iPhone? Oh, yeah, complete monopoly, which I'm not saying it's a good thing. Again, another debate for another day. But the point I'm making is that Apple are going to come in. I mean, this is, I think, a big test for Tim Cook's Apple CEO, because effectively this kind of reminds me of the rivalry that Apple had with Microsoft when Steve Jobs was the CEO, and effectively he was fighting against Steve Ballmer and Bill Gates. Major rivalry between the two. It was really about, try to dominate the market, the PC market, personal computing market, and of course Apple, thanks to the iPhone, iPad, and so on, absolutely took over that market as well, pretty well. Um, and now it seems that Microsoft are now moving their attention towards Apple again, and saying that they're creating effectively what they, and I suppose some other commentators, describe as potentially MacBook killer. Apple not going to sit around and allow this to happen. I'll be super surprised. They've got the resources to make it happen, where their edge AI is going to be definitely better than everybody else's. I mean, certainly I'm praying, because I'm an Apple user, full disclosure, and I hate Siri. I'm sorry, Apple. I hate Siri. It's crap. And I just hope that whatever is the new iPhone with the new iOS coming up, we're gonna have Siri that actually is at least as good as GPT 4.0. All right, but knowing Apple's policy with privacy and so on, I think they will keep it on your device. It will be interesting to see how they implement it, and of course, it will be interesting to see how Microsoft would implement there as well. But going back to my original point, I think that this is definitely the evidence now that the tech sector now is going after your data in a big way. So I wonder if this is the the first step towards the second iteration of the big data hype. Remember that? That was a big hype that effectively, I don't think it really caught on very much. I mean, certainly not from the consumer side, but everybody was going on about big data, big data, big data. It was just bloody irritating. Another hype. Um, and I'm wondering, this is going to be a new thing now, because the amount of data now that they're going to be taking away from you is truly unprecedented. And I think, looking at some of the privacy practices that a lot of these tech companies are doing, yeah, it doesn't look good. So my advice, I mean, some people even, like, I heard somebody today telling me that they don't want to even use AI at all now. No, no, no. I think you shouldn't lose out, right? One of the reasons, in fact, again, I'm not trying to sell you Nano, but again, we created Nano, in fact, in response to that, because it's free, it's private. If you don't trust the other companies, go and use Nano. It's free, private, nobody's reading it, just to get your head around it, for you to understand how generative AI works, right? It's designed for that. It's a way for you to be able to learn if you're not comfortable using OpenAI or Gemini or anybody, anything like that. But be conscious that everything that you use to communicate with these chatbots, whether you're using vision, your prompts, you're uploading files, or sharing anything, all of that data is being uploaded to a server. It's not within your device or within your local ecosystem or within your company. It's on a server somewhere. And if you remember the report that I shared with you before, and I'm going to share it again here, that showed how tech companies, thousands of tech companies that you interact with, share your data amongst one another, and even share it with Facebook and other major social media platforms. I mean, this is a practice. I mean, one of the reasons why I walked away from the tech sector, because they're quite cavalier about it. I mean, when I ran my first ever startup, which was an ad network back in the day, people would just literally wanted to share their users with ours, because they were like, let's beef up the user base, like willy-nilly, right? Of course, we didn't have privacy, issues at the time in terms of the conversation. Of course, the issue was there, but nobody was having the conversation about privacy. There was no GDPR, obviously. But nonetheless, I didn't think it was ethical. I thought it was wrong. But everybody was cavalier about it. Even one of the investors that was part of one of my companies in the past was saying and suggesting, oh, maybe we should sell user data to data brokers. We can make some extra cash. It's they do this all the time. They're still doing it today. That's why I'm calling this out. That's why I have this channel, because I want to reveal the realities to you guys, so that your experience with data, tech, AI, whatever it is that you do, gaming, you stay conscious about that because it's real. I mean, it is real. Your data is being shared everywhere. And now that like the research, as I said earlier, the research shows quite clearly that this ambition towards AGI can never be achieved with the amount of data that is available today. Then what is the strategy? What's the next strategy? Like I just said, big data 2.0 or 3.0. I don't know how many iterations we had of that stuff. But now they're going after more data, a lot of it, to try and achieve something like AGI, which I'm calling it now, they're not going to do it. Or whatever they might claim that it is AGI, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But what is happening is that your data is not as private as it should be. So this is just my general thoughts. It's bank holiday in here, hence it's so nice and quiet. But yeah, I welcome your thoughts, guys. I mean, if you're looking forward to Microsoft Recall, if you think it's a useful feature, like I said, for me, yeah, it's a nice feature, but I can easily live without it. I mean, I remember, I mean, Microsoft, Apple, quite a few years ago when they revealed Time Machine. I mean, to be honest with you, I hardly ever used it. I mean, it's useful. It was useful a few times. I needed to recover a few files. I remember a while back, but that was like literally that was the only time I probably used it. I hardly ever use it. Um, but yeah, I mean, tell me what you think. If you think this is a good idea, and but boy, do we need regulation now? Yeah, yeah, we do. But like I said before, I have zero confidence in that. Like I said, the EU regulation is not starting properly until 2025. Though I was told today some of my connections within um, the EU Commission told me that they are up in arms about this announcement from Microsoft about recall. So let's see what they say. But yeah, I welcome your thoughts, guys. Again, stay safe, enjoy yourself with AI, and I'll speak to you soon.